going on, movie fans? I've been wanting to review this one for a while, and I've finally gotten the opportunity to find the time and get it done. And today I'm going to be reviewing Zack Snyder's Justice League, and I loved this film. This movie is really good. I think it's underrated, and I don't think it got the recognition it deserves. So if you don't know the story about what happened, why this movie got delayed, Zack Snyder got fucked by Warner Brothers because they hated the backlash that BVS got. I understand that. I personally did not like Batman vs. Superman. I thought it was overly long, too much was crammed into one story, and they waited almost 90 minutes to show them fight. There was no build up to the fight, and more importantly, the fight between Batman and Superman was way too short and underwhelming. So I side with Warner Brothers on that account, but to fire him and not see his vision on Justice League and to fire him before he completed it was horrible. And they're like, hey, we'll just use your daughter's suicide as a reason to let the public think you stepped down, when really they fired him. They also screwed him by not advertising the Snyder Cut when it came out on 4K or HBO Max during its time of release. I personally went and picked it up to support the Snyder Cut. I got it on 4K opening day on September 7th. And I think it's messed up that the movie had zero advertising for how great the film was. Was it overly long? Yeah, we're about to get into all that. I think the movie stood its ground very well. I liked Zack Snyder's vision. I think he had a great lineup ready to go and a great idea to execute. I think he understood the characters. He portrayed them very well. The score in this was great. The story in this was great. Because personally, when I saw BVS, I thought Zack Snyder didn't know anything about these characters. I'm like, why is he playing around and creating stories for characters he seems to know nothing about? When I saw the Snyder Cut, I was shocked. I thought it was just going to be a longer version that's either worse or a little better than the Whedon cut, and it was a completely different movie, different mood, different energy. Everything about it just came together like glue and worked for me. There was great relationships in the movie. There was great action scenes in the movie. If you don't know the story of the film, it's about the 4 mother boxes, and Steppenwolf has to get the 4 mother boxes to release Darkseid. And once he releases Darkseid, Darkseid will let him come back to the team because he betrayed the team and he wants to make amends to it, but they don't trust him, and this is the way to earn their trust. So he has to get the 4 mother boxes. So he gets one of the mother boxes from the Amazons, and he starts to build his trust with Darkseid. Then the Justice League realizes what he's going to do, and it's kind of one of those alien movies like the Avengers. If he gets all 4 of the mother boxes together, he'll release Darkseid, and then Darkseid will bring in all these parademons, and they'll take over the planet and take over the world. And the Justice League is like, we're going to stop him. And it's very generic storytelling, but it was done in such a fun way. I had a lot of fun with it, and I think a lot of people did because it's gotten a lot of great reviews and a lot of positive feedback. He had great chemistry with the characters. Like in the end, Superman lost his old home that he grew up in. He asked Bruce Wayne, he's like, how'd you get the house back? He's like, I bought the bank because the bank had the house. And I thought that was just Batman. That's something he would say. And there's a scene where Batman's going to go on a suicide mission. Flash is like, do you need any help? And he's like, don't worry about me. Just get to the Unity. And then he just goes on a suicide mission by himself in the Batmobile, getting in this really awesome action scene. He's just shooting the shit out of these things, and he's just human. These things can tear him apart, rip his arm right off of him, and kill him. But he's like, I'm going to go on this crazy mission and just shoot these things by myself, because that's Batman. He's just crazy and stubborn. In this cut, you see a longer version of the bank robbery scene with Wonder Woman. I don't know what Joss Whedon was thinking, but they cut out like all the best parts of it. Zack Snyder had a better idea because he'd show the robbers walking up to the bank, planning what they're going to do. There was more build up to it. It wasn't just thrown in your face and like, okay, here's a bank robbery. Okay, Wonder Woman's here. There was more tension to it. And the fight with her in that scene was awesome. She threw a guy against a wall and cracked his whole face open. There was blood splattered all over the wall. It was great. And they cut almost all of it out. Also, the cinematography in this was a lot more appropriate and better for the tone that they were going with. I know some people are like, oh, it's just dark. Zack Snyder's got such a boner for dark material. Everything's so depressing and cold and grey and dark and wet and it's raining all the time. That's what he wanted to do with this. If you don't like it, shut it the fuck off. But to say a movie's bad because it had dark colors and a color scale that was grey and depressing and mood, that's the energy you want to go off of. And I think for what he did, it worked splendidly. Now, what he did with Man of Steel, Zack Snyder, I'm going to stand behind you on that one. Superman's not really meant to be dark and gritty like Batman. So you got me there. I got no complaints. The movie was too dark, too depressing. Superman's more of like a hopeful, like Spider-Man type. Fun, raise hope, fight some guys off, and you feel great about it. Batman is not. So they're mixing a very evil character who's Darkseid into the Justice League, which he's the nastiest villain. And they're doing the mother boxes. So I think the color scale for this worked. Cyborg's character was fleshed out very good. They finally taught us what his story was, what happened to him. You got all of that stuff. Aquaman, I've never been a fan of Aquaman. He's just a dude. He drinks some bottle of wine and then he throws the glass down on some rocks. And I'm like, don't you care about the environment, dude? Wonder Woman was great. She was that hopeful hero to give you a peace of mind that she's there to protect you. You feel safe around her. Batman had the attitude and the tone to him. And Superman was great. They finally got him right. Like, he's like, I'm not a believer. I don't remember because I don't like Superman. He said something, I am a big fan of justice. Some shit like that. But, you know, when Superman talks and shows up, I'm kind of just like, Batman? Oh. So he said something around, I believe in justice. But he got his character right. Is this guy still bothering you? And they punch Steppenwolf in the face. So if you're a Superman fan, you're going to get what you want out of this. And he's wearing a black suit, which is pretty sweet. Not a big fan of the Flash. I like the character. I just don't like the actor they have for him. He's too Deadpoolish for me. I guess he's going to be the comedy relief dude. So that wasn't too good. One of my favorite parts about the movie, Darkseid. Holy shit, thank you, Zack Snyder. Thank you so much. They made the best Darkseid we will probably ever get to see on film. He was 7'8", big ass, huge broad shoulders. Scary, muscular dude, creepy alien. They made his voice scary. He was just an intimidating guy. I love the way they did it. And I also liked how they redid Steppenwolf, how he had the metal shards for his armor. He just looked better. And I thought his character was also fleshed out way better because we knew more of his motives and his goals. I think it worked better and he was pretty aggressive. Darkseid, however, they actually made him intimidating, which is how he's supposed to be because he's the big villain for the Justice League to fight on a constant basis. So you got to make him the best. And they did. A big complaint, it's 4 hours. It is very long. There are some parts that are just thrown in there, but I think Zack Snyder's like, look, I'm not going to get to make my trilogy or fulfill my full vision of this. I'm just going to throw everything I got into it and show you everything I did. Put every scene I filmed in there. It's too long. There's a scene where Aquaman goes into the water after talking to Bruce Wayne. It shows this village of people singing to the water because he brings them food like fish and crabs and stuff and feeds the people of this town that are pretty poor. And I understand why he had that in there, but as just an average casual movie watcher, 4 hours that's a chore. You know, even I took a break about 2.5 hours in. Took 20 minutes and then finished the last hour and a half. No one can just be like, hey, you want to watch the Justice League? It's 4 hours. Sure, yeah, I'll come over. That's something you got to plan ahead. I give people that. It's too long. But again, to be fair, Zack Snyder knew he wasn't going to get to do his rest of his movies. So why not throw everything in there? You know, that's why it's there. Pretty fucking simple, cut and dry. It's long for that reason. I don't have a problem with it. This movie was great. I loved it. I liked the score, the fighting, the action, the attitude, the characters, the relationships between everyone. There's even a scene where they even have Alfred interacting with Wonder Woman and they're talking about making tea. He's like, oh no, you don't want to stir it just yet. And it's just like little tiny things like that that are sprinkled in there that work with these characters. The connection of them and the relationship building is perfectly executed. And I think you should see it. My favorite scene of the whole freaking movie. That flashback Cyborg saw.
Holy shit.
Seeing him kill Aquaman, Wonder Woman was dead, and then seeing Clark Kent, Superman, holding Lois's dead body in his arms, and then Darkseid comes up and puts his hand on his shoulder, and Superman's just crying, and then they show him in the future holding Batman's mask. That was fucking terrifying, and I loved it. I've always wanted to see Superman like lose his shit in a live action movie and just go crazy. They showed it. They gave you a little glimpse of it. And it shows how evil Darkseid is. Like, when he looks over at the camera after killing Aquaman, you can feel heavy energy, a presence of, like, a very bad person. On top of it, he's super smart and powerful. And it's like someone you'd be intimidated to go toe-to-toe with. That's what I loved about Darkseid. And that's how you have to execute a villain. If you can make me scared of him, You're doing a great job. So one of the really awesome parts that I liked about it was when Superman fights the Justice League. The scene was awesome. Like when he was holding two of the Justice League characters and then the Flash was running at high speeds and Superman was just like watching the Flash, and then the Flash was like, because he could see him in real time. He didn't realize how fast Superman was. That's a great nerdy Easter egg. Like, haha, I get it. Because I understand your powers. And then the fight was not bad. He was beating the crap out of the Justice League. But then Batman shows up. And Batman's just a human. It's not like he can withstand Superman. If I'm being honest, because I'm a biased Batman fan, if Batman truly went toe-to-toe without kryptonite with Superman, Superman could literally kill him with this laser beam. And he could punch his head right off. Superman would win 100% of the time if he was trying. You will never hear me say that again, Alex. Ever. Batman shows up and you can see the fear in his face. He's like, holy fuck. You know, like Superman's awake. But then when Superman looks at him, he goes, I know you. Superman comes up and just bitch slaps Batman into the car really fucking hard. And Batman's like, oh fucking like, oh fuck. Because he's a human, so that hurt him pretty bad. And then Superman flies above him and is about to laser beam him to death. He's holding and he gets fried and he rips it off. And he realizes he's only got like one more. He's about to kill him. And I love the line in that. He goes, Clark, no, this world needs you. Like he knows it's going to be very hard for them to defeat Darkseid and Steppenwolf without him. So he realizes if Clark loses his mind, kills him, they can't stop Darkseid and Steppenwolf without him. It's the bottom line. I loved it because the way Zack Snyder edited that scene and the way he executed it, you could literally, through the screen, feel Batman's fear of Superman. You know he knows that he can't stop him. And he can kill him at any time he wants. And Batman was almost like submissive. Clark, no! This world needs you. He was fucking scared. And Batman doesn't get scared. That's why it works so good. Because Batman's never like that. He's always super aggressive and vile and violent. And he gets the answers he wants by breaking people's wrists and their fingers and punching their ribs and hurting them to where they're hospitalized. He's got an attitude on him. You finally see him scared for once, and it was great. Because it also happens in the ending. And that brings me to one of my last things. The thing I'm so disappointed about. The ending. The dream sequence. Batman's talking to the Joker. They're talking shit to each other. Batman looks at the Joker and he says, when Harley Quinn looked at me with her last breath, she begged me to kill you. And one day, I will. That day will come. I will fucking kill you. And then Joker was like, he's like, oh, you're good. You almost had me. And it was just like you feel the tension. It was just done well. And the music was super simple in the back. It was just unsettling. And for me, I felt all this energy coming off of it. I don't think you can intensify or amplify the energy any better than what he did in that scene, because the next part, Cyborg can, he's a robot, so he can see stuff, and he's got maps and stuff. He can see it far ahead. And he's like, he found us! And then Superman drops to the ground, and Batman looks like he just shit his pants. When he turns around to look at Superman, you can see in his face he's saying, we're fucked. He knows it's over. Because Superman now, this dream sequence is supposedly taking place in the future when everyone's dead and Superman has lost his mind. And I want to see that. I wanted to see that trilogy come to fruition. I want to see Zack Snyder's vision. Like, what was he going to do with Justice League 2 and 3? But the backlash at BVS was so bad, it's not going to happen now. So it's super disappointing, and this is all I get. It's like this little dick tease. It sucked, because I know it's probably not going to happen. It could, but the likelihood and what I've been reading, because I read up on it, weekly to see if there's any motion with it, it's not going to happen. And Zack Snyder just signed a bunch of contracts with Netflix exclusives, so his schedule's full. It's over, sadly. They even show Darkseid on a planet getting in a fight with a bunch of other people. One of the guys drops a Green Lantern ring and it's flying around. He tries to grab it. And it was scary. It's like, oh shit, he gets a hold of that. Oh my god. Because you know what the Green Lantern ring does. You know what it can do. So Steppenwolf's pretty intimidating too, because he goes to the Amazonian place. He goes to their world. And my god, the action scene with those girls was fucking awesome. It was one of the best parts of the movie, dude. These women were shooting bow and arrows at him, beating the shit out of him. And they were kicking ass. And then all of a sudden he wipes them out. And he picks up a horse and throws another horse into another horse. And then he takes his axe and cuts two of the Amazonians in half, and he started just wiping them out. This scene was great. The scene where Cyborg's dad died, the music in that elevated that scene so high above the bar. Dad flips the switch and presses it. They did a great job with the father relationship with Cyborg. And I'm ranting on again, but Look, I'm telling you, you have to watch this movie. I don't even see a lot of bad reviews. But if you are a DC fan, this is the Justice League movie you've wanted your whole life. It's perfect in a lot of ways, but it's not perfect in some ways. Like the runtime's too long. There's some scenes that need to be shredded out. Some of the dialogue was a little cringy. There were too long moments with no action. And then all of a sudden the ending just gives you like an hour and 10 minutes of non-stop action. But then like in the middle, there's nothing. It has its flaws. It's not perfect. It's probably going to be the best Justice League movie we have for a very long time. So that's my thoughts and opinions on Justice League. I have a lot more I want to say, but the review's already cutting a little long. I could see it on my camera. I think you should give it a chance, even if you've heard negative things about it. And if you're discouraged by the 4 hours, just watch 2 hours and then finish the other 2. So before we go, I did want to mention my favorite line in the movie. Cyborg talks to Batman because he's flying his jet towards the base of where the parademons are. And he shoots a few missiles at it and it doesn't work. And then Cyborg goes, "Bruce, turn around, you're not going to make it." And then Batman flies his jet to turn around, but then he's like, "Just going to have to knock a little louder." And then he shot like 50 of them at it at once and then took the plane and just crashed right in the gate and it opened up the portals. That's Batman. And that's how Batman does it. And that's how it's done. So if you're a fan of these characters and you're not discouraged by the runtime, I so highly recommend this movie. It was fantastic. Don't miss out on it. You'll regret it. It's available right now on Blu-ray, 4K, digital, and HBO Max. Until then, I'll catch you movie fans on my next review.